Welcome back to the Actary Magic Channel. I'm Steve, the Actary. Today we're talking about Jetmir, Nexus of Revels, the new guy out of Streets of New Capenna. He's a cat, he's a demon, and he's gonna come crush souls. All right, but before we get into that, I want to let you know we are sponsored today by MTG On Command. They're doing these really sweet deck boxes. I believe this is one of their purple from the Kamigawa release that they did. They did want like special deck boxes for their release. These are 3D printed. They hold your commander so you can put him out on the battlefield just like that. Really cool. Link to the description below for 10% off your first purchase. All right, guys, let us indulge. Let us get into this. Yes. Jetmir, okay, this dude is sick. Oh, stayed in the end for a combo. We have combos today. Okay, so Jetmir is a 4-drop, 5/4 cat demon. It says creatures you control get +1/0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures. Cool. Creatures you control also get +1/0 and have trample as long as you control 6 or more creatures. Cool. Creatures you control also get +1/0 and have double strike as long as you control 9 or more creatures. So this, in my humble opinion, is the commander for all of those go wide strategies. Any of them in Naya that you can think of, go wide, Jetmir is going to play well, very well. In fact, he doesn't need to be out and play for a whole turn to come back around to him and get some value. You play him immediately. If you have a bunch of creatures to go swinging with, you're going to hurt somebody that turn. Okay, so sorry, 3 or more creatures, you're going to get +1/0 and vigilance. 6 or more, you're going to get +2/0 vigilance and trample. And then 9 or more, I can do math, you're going to get +3/0 vigilance, trample, and double strike. So we're going to make a lot of tokens, a lot of creatures. All right, that's what my focus is going to be on today. Let's talk about our auto includes. Anointed Procession and Parallel Lives. Basically the same card for 4. Each one as a green or a white and 3 generic. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. And Parallel Lives basically says the same thing. If an effect would put 1 or more tokens on the battlefield under your control, it puts twice that many of those tokens on the battlefield instead. Almost functionally identical. I can't actually think of a way that they're different. But 2 copies of the same card in a deck like this is perfect. Okay, next up we have Spellslingers. So this is an idea I had for Jetmir. If you want to be producing tokens, but also heavily interacting environment. Lots of spot removal, lots of interaction with your opponents, maybe instants and sorceries that put creatures into play. Spellslingers are going to do some really fun things in this, and these are the Spellslingers that I found for Naya. Monastery Mentor, though, is a white and 2 generic prowess, but whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess onto the battlefield. So it says non-creature spell, all right? That means that you can cast instants, sorceries, enchantments, and artifacts that aren't creatures, and you're going to get a 1/1 with prowess, which is fantastic because if you play Glorious Anthem or Intangible Virtue with Monastery Mentor, you're going to get a 1/1, and then you're going to get the effect of your enchantment. Or, you know, if you play a Signet. If you play a Selesnya Signet with Monastery Mentor, you're going to get your Signet now and then get a 1/1. Choice. Manaform Hellkite, on the other hand, though, does the exact same thing, but you only get the creature until end of turn, which is fine for the most part because the creature's going to be big. So if you cast a 3-drop, she is a 4-drop, double red, 4/4 flying dragon. It says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Exile that token at the beginning of the next end step. So you don't get to keep the token, but they're big tokens. And if you cast multiple in a turn, you're going to get multiple dragons until end of turn and go swing, swing, swing. Cool. I think these are good in those heavy spell decks, but I also think it'd be pretty good in like an enchantment-based like Staxy kind of deck. But you're going to have to really, really play around with that because there's going to be some Stax effects you don't want. Anyway, it's just really, really cool. Next up in our Spellslinger, we got Young Pyromancer, Young Peasy. This is whenever you cast an instant sorcery, create a 1/1 for 2 mana. He's a cool card, and he plays very well in this. Arasta of the Endless Web is a 4-drop, 3/5 with Reach, Spider. It says whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider with Reach. Now, These are both really good, and they're gonna all add to Jetmir. Okay, all of them. So we don't have to have the same creature type. Very cool. And Arrest is just gonna get so much value. For 4? Yes, please. Next up, we have Stormkiln Artist. Basically, it's a 4-drop for 2/2. This is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, create a treasure token. Heck yes. Gets +1/0 for each artifact you control. Yeah. Okay. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. I like this card in the kind of like a Spellslinger build because she can create elementals to go swinging. Okay. For 0. So she'll either put a loyalty counter on each red planeswalker you control, or for 0, she'll create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. They gain haste, sacrifice them beginning the next instant, or you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less for your graveyard. If that card would be put in your graveyard this turn, exile instead. So Chandra is really, really good here because she's going to recur a lot of our spot removal if we need to. She's going to make tokens for us to go swinging with Jetmir. She's going to, I mean, obviously get bigger, but I really like her in this build. I think she's really, really kind of perfect for this. Anyway, next up we have Secure the Waste and March of the Multitudes. These are going to put X/1/1s into play. Heck yes. So Secure the Waste is 1 white and X, put X/1/1 white creature tokens onto the battlefield, and March of the Multitudes is double white and 1 green and X. It says also has Convoke, so you can tap your creatures to add to the casting cost of it. Create X/1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. So if you pay 3 mana and you tap 10 tokens, you're going to get, or 10 creatures, you are going to get 10 more 1/1s with lifelink. Very cool. So that, you know, you basically spend 13 mana on it. Yeah, it's cool. Next up, we have Curious Herd. Curious Herd, I think, is a really, really fun card for this deck. It says 1 green and 3 generic. Choose target opponent. Create X 3/3 green beast creature tokens, where X is the number of artifacts that player controls. In the World of Treasures, they're going to either sacrifice all those treasures on the spot, or you're going to suddenly have a bunch of 3/3s. I really like this card. And then you untap, because it's that instant speed, you untap with Jetmir, you play Jetmir, and then you get to go swinging. Sometimes it's just a blowout. Sometimes it's just 4 mana for 2 3/3s. Okay, that's fine. But sometimes it's like 4 mana for like 5 3/3s. Ooh. And then Jetmir is just going to make so much power. So much power. They're going to have Trample and Vigilance by that time, plus 2/0. That's like, you know, if you got 5 of those dudes, you in Jetmir, you have 6. Yeah. Anyway, the math ends up being that you have 5 5/3 Trample Vigilance beasts that get to attack that turn. Very cool. Okay, Call the Copper Codes is 1 white and 2 generic. It can be strived for a white and a generic. You may cast it for an extra target for the strive cost. Choose any number of target opponents. Create X/1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. They go wide, we're gonna go wide. And plus, if you have 5 mana to put into it, you can get this person over here's creature count on that person's creature count in 1/1 tokens. It's fantastic. You untap, all of them are getting plus 3/0 and Trample, Vigilance, and double strike. Gross. Grossy. Okay, Artifact Mutation and Aura Mutation. Both of these destroy either an artifact or an enchantment, right, at instant speed, and they each create 1/1 green separately creature tokens, where X is that artifact or enchantment's converted mana cost. Artifact Mutation in the past has just been better because there's so many mana rocks in the format, but with the advent of so many good Aura and enchantment decks, Aura Mutation itself has become super good. Also, people kind of abuse the whole enchantment thing because they know people aren't running enchantment removal as heavily in Commander as they are artifact removal. So playing Aura Mutation, you're going to catch people off guard with it, and then just have a bunch of dudes to untap and swing with. Very, very good. Okay, next up we have Taparoo. This is kind of the more aggressive, like I'm gonna go swinging kind of tapping kind of effects, but these effects are really cool. So I got to thinking about this. Amara Soul of the Cord is a 2-drop 2/2. It says whenever she becomes tapped, create a 1/1 soldier token with lifelink. Awesome, fantastic. Harvest Season says search your library for up to 8x basic land cards, where X is the number of tapped creatures you control, and put those cards in the battlefield tapped. What? If you convoke something and you tap like 5 creatures, Harvest Season is now going to go get you 5 lands from your library in the battlefield tapped. Oh, so good. But this is good for aggressive builds. Again, I think Toski would be really good in this too, but he's not on this list. All right, God-Favored General and Patrol Signaler. Both of these get triggers that basically involve, or triggers or activated abilities that involve untapping. So God-Favored General, whenever it becomes untapped, you may pay 3. You get 2 White Soldier enchantment creature tokens. Okay, cool. Patrol Signaler gets, for 2 mana, gets a 1/1 White Knight Kithkin Soldier token into play. Fantastic. So we're tapping these for some reason and untapping them. Now we get to make tokens. So it's really, really good for us to be able to have this kind of synergistic way of being able to create those tokens. But these are kind of on the lower end of the best of scale. Okay, next up, ways we have to tap our creatures. Again, with God-Favored General, Patrol Signaler, Emara, Harvest Season, all of those help get bonuses whenever they're tapped, basically, or things they can do. Well, Selesnya Evangel says 1 generic and tap an untapped creature you control, Emara, create a 1/1 green saproly creature token, put it on the battlefield, right? That's awesome. That's fantastic. Additionally, Smuggler's Copter can be crewed any amount of times, so we can tap all of our creatures to make Smuggler's Copter a creature over and over and over and over and over again, okay? But Smuggler's Copter is going to attack, make us draw a card, discard a card. It's fantastic. It fits right into our build. Not going to be hurt. In any build you go with, Smuggler's Copter is going to work just fine. You're going to have plenty of creatures because you're probably playing tokens. Next up, we have Eska's Chariot and Parhelion. Now, I'll be talking about these quite a bit. These are both vehicles that we can, again, crew with all of our creatures to get them tapped. But Eska's Chariot is going to create 2/2 green cat creature tokens, which is on theme for him. Oh, cat video coming up. We're going to do an all cats video in the future about Jetmir, okay? Well, stay tuned for that. Also, combo at the end. Stay for the end. We have a combo. Anyway, so Eska's Chariot. So whenever she attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Remember those Manaform Hellkites that were attacking earlier in our video? Those Manaform Hellkites create tokens, okay? You can stack the triggers. Actually, you cast something like Eska's Chariot, right? Eska's Chariot isn't a creature whenever you cast it. So it's going to trigger Manaform Hellkite, okay, to create a token, right? If you have some kind of haste, and you can swing with Eska's Chariot. Then you can attack with Eska's Chariot, make a copy of Manaform Hellkite's token, and that token that you create won't be sacrificed at end of turn. So Eska's Chariot is just going to make a copy of whatever Manaform Hellkite tokens you get. Pretty cool. Parhelion 2 is an 8-drop. Absurd cost, but you're going to have so much mana in this deck. Okay, it's a 5/5 flying first strike vigilance. Whenever it attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking. I'm sorry, what? And it crews for 4. Okay, the same as Eska's Chariot. The same as Eska's Chariot. And you get 4 4/4 white angel creature tokens attacking. They don't get tapped. It's fantastic. So good. So good. I got you. Okay, all right. Next on, we have some passive token generation. So Awakening Zone and From Beyond basically function the same way. Both of them are going to put Eldrazi. Awakening Zone puts Eldrazi Spawn, and From Beyond puts Eldrazi Scions. Spawns are 0/1s that sack for a colorless, and Scions are 1/1s that sack for a colorless. Okay. Now, From Beyond, these are both getting you a Eldrazi sacker at the beginning of your upkeep. So now you can use that for mana. That's generally the idea. But you can use it to just go swinging, because now it's adding to your creature count for Jetmir. And now these little 0/1s are, they can be 3/1 double strike vigilance tramples. That adds up, double. And then From Beyond, if you want to add like a random, couple copies of, Eldrazi somewhere in the deck, by all means. But it says sacrifice From Beyond, search your library for an Eldrazi card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. It's there, okay? Next up, passives. Outlaw's Merriment and the Symbol of Legion. These are in Boros. So Outlaw's Merriment, it says at the beginning of your upkeep, choose one at random. Create a red and white creature token with these characteristics. Either a 3/1 with Trample and Haste, a 2/1 with Lifelink and Haste, or a 1/2 with Haste. When this creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. So, very random card. It's a 4-drop for double white, 1 red, and 1 generic enchantment. But you're always going to get it. which is nice because board wipes happen, right? Then Assemble the Legion. This one, if it stays out for any amount of time where you can proliferate these counters, fantastic. It's a 1 white, 1 red, 3 generic enchantment. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion. Then put a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste on the battlefield for each muster counter on Assemble the Legion. So every turn, it's going to add 1 more counter, and you're going to put on turn 1 that it, or on our upkeep for the first time, it gets all the 1/1. The next one, it gets 2/1s and 3/1s and 4/1s all the way up. It just keeps stacking. So this is basically exponential creatures in play. And they don't sack at the end of the turn, so you just get these tokens, okay? Now, once you have all these tokens going, sometimes they'll board wipe, and then you'll untap because you've got 5 Assemble Legion tokens, play Jetmir, and then go swinging. It's gross. Anyway, I like it. Felidar Retreat, Landfall puts 2/2 white creature, cat beast creatures into play, or it puts 1/1 counters on each creature you control. The game Vigilance, it's a 4-drop. Sweet. Court of Grace, it says when it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Fantastic. Monarch is just draw a card at the end of your turn if you're the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the Monarch, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead. Very, very cool. These are very, very cool. I like Court of Grace because of that extra card draw, and white is really starving on card draw. And so being able to get the Monarchy and keep that, it's pretty sweet. Next up, we have board wipe in what? Why would we want a board wipe? Hold on, my friend. Sometimes board wipe is for the good of all. Phyrexian Rebirth is a 6-drop. It says destroy all creatures. Didn't create an XX colorless horror artifact creature token where X is the number of creatures destroyed this way. So you destroy 10 creatures, you get a 10/10. Yes, please. And then Eska's Chariot can make a copy of this Phyrexian Rebirth token. Sounds good to me. Eska's Chariot sounding like an auto include in this deck. Hour of Reckoning is 4 generic and 3 white. And it says sorcery, convoke. Your creatures can help cast this. Each creature tap while casting the spell pays for 1 generic or 1 mana of that creature's color. Cool. Destroy all non-token creatures. Yes, please. It's good. It's just good. Idol of Oblivion is a cool card. So we're talking about Populate, and we'll get into why this is Populate. We're putting so many creature tokens into play, right? And Populate plays along with that. And we'll get into the Populate cards here in a second. For 2, we get an artifact that says tap, draw card, activate only if you created a token this turn, which works really well with our passive token generations from all of the Outlaws Merriment, Assemble Legion, From Beyond, Awakening Zone. All of those just make us be able to tap, draw a card with Idol of Oblivion. And then it says pay 8, sacrifice Idol of Oblivion, create a 10/10 color Eldrazi creature token. Probably not going to use that last mode. Toski, though. Toski's just going to draw us cards whenever we go attacking. Each creature that deals damage is going to get combat damage. We're going to draw a card. He's indestructible. He attacks each combat available. He's cool. He can't be countered. He's so cool. He's so good. Next up, we have some actual Populate cards. Selesnya Eulogist. Okay, for a green and 2 generic, we had a 3/3 Centaur Druid. It says, pay a green, 2 generic, exile target creature card from a graveyard, then populate. Yeah. Okay, so we get utility. We're going to get to exile something in a graveyard, get another creature token. That's fantastic, especially if we have something like a really big token out there. Growing ranks at the beginning of your upkeep, populate. It's not quite passive creature generation, but it's pretty close. Like, you have to have a token already in play to get that token, but it's really, really good. Okay, next up we have, what's up? Yeah, okay. ETB Triggers. Impact Tremors is a 1 red and 1 generic enchantment. When a creature enters battlefield under your control, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Yes, please. Thank you. That global damage is so good. Perfrost does the same thing. It's a god, though. It's a 6/5 for 4. It says if your devotion to red is less than 5, it isn't a creature. But whenever another creature enters battlefield under your control, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. And then you can pay a red and 2 generic, and creatures you control get +1 and +0 until end of turn. Just plays into our strategy so well. Okay, next up we have number 10 on our list, Dragon Master Outcast. Again, we're talking about those passive ways of just making dudes. Dragon Master Outcast is a 1/1 for 1 that says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Thanks. For 1 mana? Heck yes. Easy. Easy, easy peasy. Number 9 on our list, we have Rise the Redeemed. Again, a 1 mana that's just going to make creature tokens. It can either make 1/1s or it can make copies of all of our creatures. What? Yeah, it's really, really cool. Or sorry, all of our creature tokens. It copies all of our creature tokens. Anyway, really cool card. Next up, we have number 8, Bramble Sovereign. I think this could probably be higher on our list if we're more focused on it, but since we're not terribly focused on it, it's still really good though. For 4, it's a 4/4 Dryad. It says whenever another non-token creature enters battlefield, you may pay a green and a generic. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token. That's a copy of that creature. Now, we're only going to target our own creatures, but basically, if we target something like Dragon Master Outcast with it, now we get 2 Dragon Master Outcasts for a whopping 2 mana extra investment. Very good. Now that token can be copied with Eska's Chariot. Dragon Master Outcast tokens, thank you. You can get out of hand really quick. Number 7 on our list, we have a Merry Angel. It's a landfall trigger. She's a 4-drop, 3/3 flying. It says whenever a land enters battlefield under control, you can create a 1/1 white bird. Yes, thank you. I really like this one because it's a little bit cheaper than our next one, which is Rampaging Balos. For 6, you get a 6/6 trample. It says whenever a land enters battlefield under your control, you may create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Both of them are good. Okay, just landfall in general is just going to be passive ways that we can get more tokens. It's awesome. Number 5 on our list, we have Tender Shoot Dryad. This one's higher on my list because you're always going to be getting creature tokens. So for a green and 4 generic, it's a 2/2. Okay, not very impressive, right? If you control 10 or more permanents, you get City's Blessing for the rest of the game. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 Sapperling, green Sapperling creature token. Each upkeep. So one time around the table, if you got 3 opponents, you're going to get 3 1/1s. Then you're going to untap and get a 4th 1/1. And now you can just, whenever you play Jetmir, now you've got 6 creatures. And now you're just one time around the table again from being able to maximize just on one creature. You're getting all of that value every time around the table. It just gets out of hand. Very cool. Number 4 on our list, Avenger of Zendikar. This dude wins games. The only problem I have with him is he doesn't give those creatures haste. Yeah, I'm being greedy. But Avenger of Zendikar is just so good. It enters the battlefield and creates a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land you control. By the time you're casting this, you have 7 mana. At some point, you're probably going to have 7 lands. You have 7 0/1 plants. Whenever a land enters battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant creature you control. So this is going to get out of hand really, really, really fast. Fire's Yavimaya would make this really dumb. Number 3 on our list, we have Tylonali's Summoner. I messed that up. Anyway, I thought this was a very underrated, very budget-friendly card. For a generic and 1 red, you get a 1/1 Human Shaman that says Ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Whenever Summoner attacks, you may pay 1 and X. If you do, create X 1/1 elemental creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Jetmir's abilities aren't triggered, so they don't have to be in play whenever you go attacking. So they're just going to get a static +3, +0, have Trample, Vigilance, and Double Strike. Whoa. At the beginning of the next end step, exile those tokens unless you have the City's Blessing. Fantastic. You should have the City's Blessing whenever you go attacking with Tylonali's Summoner. It's a 1/1 for 2. And they have to answer it. You're just going to put a bunch of dudes out. So good. Number 2, Luminarch's Ascension. Okay, you can just win. Like, this card just wins on its own, and they have to deal with it. For a white and 1 generic, it says at the beginning of each opponent's end step, if you didn't lose life this turn, you may put a quest counter on Luminarch Ascension. Okay, so every time I don't take damage on an opponent's turn, I get an Ascension counter. Okay, so one time around the table and an extra, you basically have it turned on. For a white and 1 generic, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if it has 4 or more quest counters on it. This is fantastic. If you have any kind of proliferate ways, like Grateful Apparition, that you're going to proliferate these counters, you're going to get them much more consistently. But man, Luminarch's Ascension just wins. You get it turned on, people are going to be hunting you like nobody's business. And drum roll, please, number 1. No surprises! Surprised? Who am I? No, not surprised. Creature Behemoth. It's an 8-drop. You know this one by now. 5/5 with haste, and it says triple green, 5 generic. Whenever it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get XX until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. We're gonna be making so many tokens with this deck, it's ridiculous. And then, I mean, it just wins. You just win. You play this card and you win. It's good. So next up, let's get to our combos, shall we? So our combos, Kodama of the East Tree basically looks at the game funny and goes infinite. Okay, so Kodama of the East Tree, if you're not familiar, is a 6-drop 6/6 reach. It says whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put on the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield. It says a permanent card, which means you can put lands into play if you're getting permanents. If you're getting a permanent somehow, you can put a land into play for free with Kodama of the East Tree's ability. Now, Emiria Angel is putting out 1/1 birds every time we get a land. Right? So, we're going to get that 1/1 bird, and Kodama of the East Tree is going to say, okay, you got a permanent, now you can put something with equal or lesser mana value into play. So that means if we have like a, what do you call it? If we have something like a Chrome Mox, I don't know why you would, but if you have like, what is it, Mox Tantalite, I believe? Or whatever. Soul Tantalite? Whatever. The Suspend one. If you have any of those Suspend cards, the Suspend artifacts that you have to wait for, Kodama of the East Tree will just put that card into play with the 1/1 bird coming to the battlefield, triggering Kodama of the East Tree. Also, that 1/1 coming into play triggers me being able to put another land into play. So which triggers the landfall, which means I get to put another land into play. Which triggers the landfall and put another land into play. So, if we play it with Boros Garrison is going to come into play, trigger a Emiria Angel. Emiria Angel is going to put a 1/1 into play, and trigger Kodama of the East Tree, meaning we can put another land into play. Boros Garrison is going to target itself with its bounce trigger. It says return a land you control to its owner's hand, bounces itself, and we play it again with Kodama of the East Tree. Get another 1/1. Bounce Boros Garrison to our hand. Get another 1/1. Bounce Boros Garrison in our hand. Kodama of the East Tree puts another land into play. Create infinite 1/1 white birds. We stop it whenever we just don't play a land again or bounce a different land. And then now we have infinite 1/1s playing. Boros Garrison or Gruul Turf also works. Selesnya, where's Selesnya? Yeah. Yep. Selesnya Sanctuary. Okay, but it also works with Felidar Retreat, creating 2/2 beasts. Landfall, putting landfalls in play. And then Rampaging Baloths. We'll put 4/4s into play and landfall trigger. And we keep going. So this is such a resilient combo that it's just hard to deal with. Because as soon as you have Kodama, any of these other pieces, if you have Kodama, you resolve Kodama and you play a land, you win. Or not win, but you have infinite dudes of some variety. And play your Fire of Yavimaya so all your creatures have haste. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. If you aren't familiar with the deck boxes that we're sponsored by MTG On Command, they do a really good job. These are 3D printed boxes, so if you're not familiar with those, they do have certain drawbacks, but they're such a cool deck box. I like them because I use them in my old Dragon Egg, and it looks like this, and I can put like 2 of them side by side in my Dragon Egg, and they fit perfectly. I really enjoy it. But thank you all so much for coming out. Love you guys. Have a good day. My button.